Okay, so what we're going to do first of all is we're going to black out his eyes using a black grease paint. I'm doing this because when I go in with the airbrush, I don't want it to hurt his eyes. Make sure you get right into the root of the eyebrow, so that way you've not got any skin poking through. Go over this way. Starting to look like a superhero. So I'm just going to come in under your eye here. Brilliant, thank you. Okay guys, so you open your eyes a second. Feel okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. You give me Robin vibes right now. Gee whiz. Okay. Okay, so once you've got that on, because it is a grease paint, you want to set it. So I'm just going to go in with a black eyeshadow on a big fluffy brush and really pack that in, because you want to get that as matte black as possible. And then just to be extra safe, I'm just going to go in with some translucent powder and really pat that into it. And then brush off the excess. And open your eyes for me. And you should be left with a black base. So I'm noticing because Connor has really long eyelashes that need to go right under there to set just underneath his eyes. So I'm just going to grab a wee smaller brush and go in and do that. Okay, you might feel a little bit tickly. Can you open your eye for me? Just going to go right underneath here. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so because I've lost some of that opacity, because of the translucent powder, I'm just going to go back in with a black eyeshadow, just to really deepen the eye sockets. Just letting it become comfortable at all. Here we are. Okay. Here comes the fun bit. We're going to start airbrushing you. So it's going to be cold. You're going to have cold air blasting on you. So just a wee heads up. Is that on? There we are. Okay, for the next part, what we're going to do is we're going to go in with an airbrush and start blacking out his entire skin. You can do this with a water activated paint or a grease paint or anything at all, but for the purposes of quickness, I'm going to go in with an airbrush just to get a more even base. Close your eye for me. When using an airbrush, it's very important to have trigger control. So what you do is just slightly push down on the trigger and pull back. Once you've done that, it's just small circular movements and that will give you the most even coverage. And don't forget the ears. Right, I'm going to put it on your face, okay? Deep breath in. And hold that for me. And you can breathe again. Another deep breath in when you're ready. And hold that. And relax. Just going to let that dry a wee second. Okay, I'm just going to continue on your forehead. Starting to blend in with the background now. So this is the reason I'm painting in black, is because we're going to be shooting this onto a black background. And what the ideal is that he disappears and all you can see is the gold, which we're going to put on later on. I'm just going to move this further over. Are you feeling okay?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going back into your face again. There you are. Always warn your model before you go in on their face, because it can be quite daunting having a blast of cold air in the face. And just remember your slow, small, circular movements, because this is going to get you the most even coverage. Okay, I'm finished with your face. So you can open your eyes if you like. Literally vanished into the background.
It's just the white strand of teeth. Oh man.
Can I have a wee look at you from the front? That's creepy. So as I said, you can do this with water-based paint, such as Tag or Diamond Effects. They do the best ones. I'm just going to keep spraying. They give you a really nice opaque black. If you can, try and avoid Snazaroo, because Snazaroo, more people will take a reaction to Snazaroo. Also, the coverage isn't that great. And you can get Tag online for the same price. Okay, so go and spray his middle now, his chest. You cold?
No, I'm good.
You good? Okay. Just let me know if you ever get uncomfortable at all. Okay, here we go again. Oh, that was a click. Do you like to click, eh? Just let me know if you need to get up and move around at all or anything. It's a long time to be sitting. You ever been airbrush before?
Never.
It's a weird sensation, isn't it?
I know.
So what I'll do is I'm just going to airbrush to around about there, and then I'll go in with black body paint. Because most of the detail is going to be the top half. So that's why I'm going with the airbrush. Can you lift your arm for me, just so I can get... So the thing with the airbrush as well, any creases at all, the airbrush will not get into it, so you really need to get your model to move with the airbrush. Okay, you're just going to have to hold that just for a wee second till that dries. Yeah. Oh, look at him showing off his biceps for the camera. And put your arm down a little bit. Perfect, just so I can get right in here. Okay, and I'm just going to have a wee check over just to make sure there's no wee extra bits that didn't quite get coverage, and go over them. Okay, so if you close your eyes a second, just so I'm just going to give that a wee once over again. We go into your ear, and then on the forehead. Okay, wee spray to the face. Okay, I think that is a nice decent layer of black. Okay, so now I'm going to go in. Whoop. Now I'm going to go in with a black body paint, cake paint, as I was saying, a water-based paint for the rest of the body. You can go in with a sponge, or you can go in with a brush. I started going in with a sponge there, but I don't like how it's sitting on the skin, so I'm going to change over to a kabuki brush. Okay, so the trick to putting on body paint when it's a cake paint is you want to make the texture of the paint almost like a thick ink, because you'll get a better coverage that way. So really work that brush into the paint, and then you can just go in, again circular motions. And that will get you the best coverage. If you do think it is a little bit thin, like I think it's a little bit thin there, I'm still seeing the skin's poking through, just thicken up your paint and go back in. So our plan is to get his entire body, upper half, like a matte black. So then when we do go in with our metallic golds, it's going to really stand out. maybe right in that belly button, might feel uncomfortable. Black really makes your muscles pop. Is that paint peeling on your skin? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So would you prefer the brush or the airbrush?
Brush.
Brush, yeah. It's not very comfortable being airbrush, is it?
It's not too bad, but it's like, I don't know if I did like it after like a while, it kind of feels like mini pins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because it's such a high pressure blown into your face. So once I've got his arms covered, I'm going to do the back of his body, just off camera, because there's no point, you've seen me pop it on the front of him. It's the same thing, just all over the back. And then once we've done that, we can come back and start getting with some details. Lift your arm for me. No? 3 minutes, okay. This paint is going on you so easily, which is good. So don't forget to get behind the ears until every little crevice. As I said before, the slightest flash of flesh tone really takes you out of the image. These kind of things can be fixed later on in Photoshop, but you really want it to be as true to life as possible. Okay, so now that we've got his entire body done, I'm leaving his armpits and his hands to last, just so while we are filming and whatnot, he can have a wee break and not get it all over the walls and whatnot. So now I'm going to go in and I've mixed some Maron metallic powder with some Maron mixing liquid, and what that does is it turns any pigment into a liquid. So this is going to give me a really nice metallic gold finish, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go in and start drawing on a skull shape. You can use pictures from references. Some really good references are from Wigs and Makeup Manager and Jonas Lerici. They do some really fantastic skulls. Okay. So the trick to doing a good skull eye socket is follow the bone structure of your model. So it's usually just above the eyebrow, down to the cheekbone and around. And try and keep it quite square, and you'll get a more dramatic look when you're finished. So that's one. Now the hard part comes now, as I need to try and match it up. Fun. So excuse me if I stand in front of the model for a second, it's just so I can get my symmetry. I'm just running that along the top of his eyebrow. And then curving it round. Making sure that's symmetrical, yep. Always step back as well, just to look and make sure what you're doing matches up. Okay, that's the first part on. See if I can see that on camera. Yes. Okay, now we're going to move on to the jawline. So whenever I'm doing a skull, I like to start out just slightly out from the mouth. So I usually start around here, just where the laughter lines are. And I wrap it in, back out. Take it up quite high for more of a dramatic look. And then I'm going to bring that down, following the shape of his skull. Like that. Turn your head to the side for me, so we can see the other side, sorry. Make sure you can see that on camera. Yep. Okay, turn back for me. So the great thing about this paint is it really goes on like liquid gold, which will look fantastic in photographs. Okay, so now again, symmetry. We step back, lovely and symmetrical. So I'm very lucky with Connor because Connor's got a lovely symmetrical face. Good bones. And just turn your head that way just so we can see. Beautiful. Okay, back round. Take a wee step back and have a look. So I've just noticed I'm ever so slightly further in on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and bring that out a little bit here. And I can disguise that later by popping on teeth. Okay. Again, so now we're going to move on to the bottom jaw. So we're going to start out just at the same point. A wee curved line out, and then wrap it in, like so. You like to click your neck, don't you?
Oh no. Just let it walk neck is what it is.
Lord my father's brain. Okay, so just do wee shapes like that. And then we're going to wrap this right. Now for the purpose of my photo shoot that I'm doing today, he's mostly going to be shot from a side profile. However, it is very important to get symmetry just for any kind of front-on images because it's very distracting if you don't. Even though no one's face is actually symmetrical because we would look weird if it were symmetrical. But we all enjoy it. It's very aesthetically pleasing. Okay, so get you to turn your head to the side for me. Okay, so we're going to start in the jawline. Okay, so you've got our cheekbone here, and we're going to bring the jaw, going to curve it in, and then bring it out. And wrap it around the bottom of his jaw. Same on the other side. You just turn your head that way. So wrap it in, and then curve it out. Look straight ahead for me, just so I can see. Yep, beautifully symmetrical. Beautifully symmetrical. And then we're just going to follow his jaw all the way to the front. And then meet them up right in the middle. Beautiful. That's the bottom of his jaw done. Now we need to fill in all of this. So from roughly around where the eye socket ends, if you can see where I'm pointing there, straight down, that's where we're going to take the jaw from. So, I'm going to carve it in, and then join these two lines together. You taking this in for Halloween? Okay, so again, line it up with where your socket ends. Curve it out the way and join it up. And let's make sure it's symmetrical. Lovely. Okay. Now, on our skulls, just in our temples, we have a wee indent. So if you just do like a backward C, like so. Same in this side. Make sure I'm symmetrical. Lovely. Now, I'm just going to draw a little line just for a guide to show me where the high point of the bone is and wrap it up. So I just need to stand in front of you a second just to get this symmetrical. Okay. Now, there's all different ways you can do a skull for a nose for a skull. For the purpose of this one, we are just going to do a brief shape, because what we're going to do is we're going to be filling all this in with gold leafing. So I'm just going to plan my shape. So I'm just going to look at him straight on, and I'm going to draw from the bridge of his nose a little triangle, like so. And then the exact same on the other side. But to add a little bit of just kind of interest to it, this is the one time that I'm not going to try for symmetrical. And I'm just going to take it slightly higher. Like so. And that's us got our basic skull shape. So these wee C shapes, we can wrap them round. Turn your head to the side for me. Just so it matches in with that now. So you've got like a backwards S. Turn around for a minute. We'll do the other side. Beautiful. Okay, now here comes the hard part, and that's the teeth. The teeth are always very, very tricky to do. So if you could smile for me a second, just so I can see the shape of his teeth. So as you can see, you've got your two big teeth at the front, and you've got your canine teeth, and that's the way you want to draw it on. So just kind of remember that shape. Okay, always start from the middle for symmetry. That is one tooth there. So it's just like little church windows almost, like you're drawing. As I said, start from the middle and just kind of work out each way, and that way you'll get it nice and symmetrical. My stomach's grilling. And this little tip here is where I made the mistake last time, so I can just kind of fill that in. And then just try and match it on the other side. Beautiful. So we take a wee step back to have a look. So we're starting to get shape. Now everybody thinks a skull is really easy to do, but it's actually quite difficult. Okay, so again, get you to smile and see our bottom teeth. There we are, so you can see that there, so they're more kind of straight. So relax for it, we're just going to do the same thing again. So with the lower ones, we're going to bring them to a point at the bottom. So I always find it makes it easier if you press your brush in and then release the pressure as you're pulling down, and it'll give you a nice little point. check your time. Okay, so another 15 minutes, then we can get a wee break. Okay, so at the top of our teeth, we're going to bite the bottom, point them. So he's going to point them up the way, almost like little teardrops. Just following the shape of the face. Cool. If you want, we can pop your dressing gown on if you're feeling a little bit chilly. Beautiful. Okay. So when you have your teeth, you have the bone and the root. So we're going to try and give that a root illusion just by bringing this ever so slightly, these little points at the edge, up, and wrapping them with just around ever so slightly. Lovely. Now normally I would go in now and start shading in between every single tooth, but because this look is just purely black and gold, I don't need to go into the detail of that. However, if you do want to know more about that, be sure to ask me in the Q&A. Okay, so the same thing on the bottom. We're just going to continue these lines down just ever so slightly. Just following the shape of the face. And then what I'm going to do now is just add a little dot just at the bottom in between each tooth, just to kind of separate them and just add a little bit of interest. And take a wee step back. Lovely. And the same on the top. Just a tiny little line, just in between each tooth as a wee highlight. Okay, so now that I'm happy with my shape, I'm just going to see if I can zoom in, just so I can, no, I'm not able to do that. Now that I'm happy with my shape, I can start to go in with my gold leafing. Now Connor was patch tested before, so we know that he doesn't have any allergies to the paints or glues that we're going to use today. So I would highly suggest that you get your model a patch test, roughly more than 24 hours at least before. But it's always best to prepare ahead just in case there are any allergies and you have to find someone else to do it in advance. Ours was quite a few weeks ago, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Right, so the next part, we're going to add on some glue. Do you want me to pop on your dressing gown for the time being?
That's alright.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, now I need to find what my stickiness. Okay, and I need a brush to put on with. Just pop a little bit onto this. Turn turn that way so it's not going to run into that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some Prozaid. You could use spirit gum, you could use any sort of skin safe adhesive. I'm just going to go in with Prozaid again just for longevity because it's going to be a long day. And I'm just going to start putting the glue on where I want filled in with the gold leaf. It's quite peculiar how it's so warm outside, it's so cool in here, isn't it? You sure you don't want your dressing gown?
Absolutely, I'm fine.
You're a braver man than I am. So I'm just going to go through this very small sections at a time. And I'm literally just putting the glue all over where I want the gold leaf to sit. Why can I hear a buzzing? That's weird. I thought it was a bee. It's got to see me running out of the room now.
Anyways, thanks for the tutorial.
Okay, so now that I've got a wee bit on there, now what I'm going to do, there's probably something better to put that in so it doesn't go everywhere. I'll get you to hold this. So this is my gold leafing. You can pick this up from any kind of hobby shop. And what I'm going to do is just pick some up with my fingers or a wee brush. Once the glue is nice and tacky, which it is, I'm going to pick some up. Oh, that was a lot. And I'm just going to press it in. Sorry, I'm just going to bring that down. Press it in. I'm wanting it to be quite messy, with a lot of texture. So you're just pushing it onto the glue. And look already, that is just absolutely beautiful. Obviously I'm trying to keep within the lines of where I've popped my glue. If I do come slightly over it, it's not the end of the world, I can just brush it off later. Why do I feel like there's a bee's nest in that wall?
Must be diving into. It might be the lawnmower's into.
Oh, hopefully.
Oh, yes, the lawnmower's.
Okay. So by making it quite messy, and because you don't want it to be kind of flat, it's going to shine and reflect very well on different light. So this is giving it that kind of avant-garde look to our fantasy character. Now how beautiful. What is that? Turn your head to the side for me. Gorgeous. Now this stuff will get everywhere and it's very messy. However, it just looks absolutely fantastic. So as I did there, I'm just going to continue all around everywhere that I've laid out. Okay, so now that we've went across the entire face with the gold leafing, which we just again placed the glue on, let it go tacky, and then just with our fingers pressed it in. So now that we've done that, and I've left a slight, turn your head to the side for me, I've left a slight gap here, just so you can see the difference from where the jaw is and where the cheekbone is. So now I'm going to go back in, bring your head to the front again, with some gold paint, and I'm just really going to define those teeth. So again, it's with the mix and medium, and that's made from Mayron. I definitely suggest that one is really good, with the Mayron metallic dust pigment. So I'm just going to go in now, and I'm just really going to fill these out, and just try and make them nice and crisp. And don't worry about too much about getting a straight line on the mouth or anything, because one thing you've got to remember when you're putting a straight line on a curved surface, if you make a straight line on a curved surface, it's going to look curved. So if you do a curved line on a curved surface, it makes it appear straight from straight on, which you're seeing there, because I haven't kind of squared all them off. If I square all the teeth off, it's going to look really angular. So don't worry too much about getting that squared off. Just kind of curved lines when you're doing face are always your best option. So I'm just kind of marrying that into the gold underneath the lip. And I'm not even using a makeup brush for this. I'm using just a wee watercolour brush that you can get from like any art store or hobby store. Or B&M. You get lots of them in B&M as well in the range. Whatever works for you, just feel free to use it. Lovely. Okay, and I'm just going to go round all the edges just to make my lines nice and crisp. Again, we want that jawline to be really, really crisp. And then your eye sockets as well, you need to make sure they're nice and... There we are. I don't want any wavy lines there. So this gold leafing that I got, I actually bought this from Hobbycraft. And as a makeup artist, if you're going into these kind of looks, these kind of avant-garde looks, whatever, you'll actually find that you actually buy most of your stuff from Hobbycraft. So if you get a chance, go get yourself one of the wee discount cards, because they really come in handy. I think I keep that shop in business. Beautiful. And then I'm just going to fill in just around under the nose. And then marry that in with the teeth again. So, again, always step back and have a look to see if you're happy with them. It's looking good. How's that feeling? Is it feeling okay on you?
Yeah.
I've given them also like a wee bum chin, just because I always think a skull looks really cool. Just adds dimension. With a wee bum chin. There we are. Now that I've done that, I'm going to get another little brush and then go in with the black body paint and just kind of make sure that all my black is really opaque. So bear with me. I'm just going to grab a little brush. Again, any brush will be good for this. One thing I'll always say is if you do like special effects and avant-garde makeup, never fling out your old brushes, because your old brushes tend to be fantastic for doing body paints and whatnot. For example, this is just a wee eyeshadow brush that was getting a bit past it for beauty makeup, so now I use it for special effects. Okay. it's just about going back in and just redefining anything or taking away any little gold that you went over. So you just want to keep it nice and sharp. For example, here, I feel like I can take this up a little bit higher, which I'm going to just cut in, just to give that more of an angle. Again, the same on the other side. Just going in and redefining everything. So to do this, you want to keep your paint quite thick as well, because you are going over the gold leaf and any bits that you've made a mistake. So quite like a paste-like consistency you want to go in, just so it's thick enough to lie on top of the gold leaf and alter the shape. Okay, so let's just match this little bit up here that I've taken slightly higher. Lovely. You see, just by lifting that up ever so slightly, it's giving the jaw more of a focus and making this negative space here really stand out. Now the way I've done the nose, I've done it slightly small, and now I just want to make the nose a little bit larger, the negative space. So I'm just going to again go back in with my brush. Do a line straight down on each side. And then curl it back around. Just remember, if there's anything that I'm not saying that you're unsure of, just make a wee note of it, and then you can ask me that during the Q&A, just in case you forget. So anything you're unsure of, just make sure you write that down. And look at the difference that made there. Absolutely superb. Okay. Now I'm going to try to decide whether I want to go in with a little bit of gold. So the gold metallic powder, I'm thinking I'm going to grab a little fluffy blending blush, and the powder itself, without the mixing medium, I'm just going to grab a little on the brush and just use this just a little bit, just to kind of accent little areas. For example, just on the forehead. A wee bit. Just any kind of areas that you want to kind of stand out a little bit. So by adding this slight little bit of light here, just next to the jaw. Can you turn your head to the side a little bit for me? Just that way. You can see that, so I'm just adding a tiny little bit of the powder just there. Bring it forward again. What that's doing is creating depth. So it seems like there's part of the bone that isn't as far back in the skull but it's still in the shadows. And the same on this side. Beautiful. And stand forward, have a wee look at what you've done. If you're happy with it, or if you're not happy with it. So for example, there's a wee bit that I think is just a little bit too bright, so I'm going with a brush with nothing on it. And I'm just circular motions, hold my brush right at the tip, so there's not a lot of pressure, and just get in and blending that ever so slightly, just to take away any harsh lines. Lovely. Okay. I'm going to take a wee step forward again, have a look. Lovely. Can you close your eyes for me a second, just so I can see? Okay, so what I can see here is that we're having some creasing on the eyelids, so I'm just going to get you to keep your eyes closed for me. That just means that I haven't set the black properly. So I'm just going to tap my finger over to get rid of any lines. And then use a little makeup brush and go in with some black shadow just to really set those eyes and make it nice and matte black. I'm just going to grab a different shade from that one. I want a darker one. So any black eyeshadow will do. I'm just going to, I'm really working that into the socket, because when this is being photographed, I want the black to be really matte. So then it just disappears into the background. Okay, can you do me a favour and open your eye and look up? And again, I'm just going to go in again and set the under eye. And I get that nice and matte. And you can relax your eyes now. Again, anything you want to kind of push back into the skull. You just go in with some black. Blend out those edges with a little bit of black. Beautiful. So I'm noticing some flesh still poking out the ears. So again, going in with my black shadow and just really going over everything. So it doesn't have to be an expensive black shadow, it can just be any old black shadow. Beautiful. Now, he's already shiny as it is with the gold leafing, but it's always nice to have more texture. So by adding something as simple as just like a wee stone, for example, turn your head to the side, it can make a world of a difference. Absolute world of a difference. I'll put this one here. I'm just going to do a couple more, just round about this area, just to build that area up. So again, with the Pro Z, I'm just popping it where I want the stones to sit. And again, for symmetry, just try and match up where they're going. And there. And there. I'm applying the Prozade with a disposable lip. So that, again, you should have these in your kit anyway, just so you're never applying lipstick directly to the lip for hygiene reasons. And they come in really, really handy for glue. Okay, so I'm just going to let that get a little bit tacky. And then, so these are rhinestones that I picked up again from Hobbycraft. So just pop them on. And that's just going to give us a different little bit of texture for the piece. For this makeup I'm doing a male and a female. And the female is going to be mostly stones. So this way, when they're together, they'll be cohesive. Can you just say it for me? And that'll catch the light beautifully. Lovely. Okay. Let's try and remember where I put each stone. Just trying to find the right stone, because I've got all different sizes here, so I want them to be the same on each side. By using different sizes, it's just creating more of an interest, so it's just not all very uniformed. Beautiful. Let's stand at the head and have a look. Lovely. And turn your head to the side just so you can see that. Gorgeous. Okay. Now if you find it hard applying gemstones, you could also use a gemstone applicator, which I ordered one of these from Amazon. Now if you do anything with gemstones, these are perfect, because you have a little wax tip. I'll show you actually. Got a little wax tip on it, which means you can pick up a stone with it, it'll stick to the wax, and then just pop it on the face, and that way you're not getting your fingers all covered in glue. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a couple more of these in different spaces. So I'm just going to go on and just put little dots, that's where I want them. Again, trying to keep symmetry. Okay. And now we can pop on some more stones. And I'll use that one as well. Gorgeous. Right. Just remember when you put your Prozade as well, because as it gets dry, it starts to go clear. Just trying to remember what size stones it is. Okay. Beautiful. Cool, cool. Trying to think if there's anywhere else I want to pop some stones. I might just do one more there and one more there. Yes, I think I'll do that. So it is always good to go in with a plan. However, plans change and it's all about adapting to what happens. For example, I did want to have a wee spike there, but it was too heavy. So now we're adapting and we're changing. And sometimes that works out for the better. Okay, so what we've done is we've popped his hair into a mohawk. And now what we're going to do is, I've just done it to the back of his body. You can see here. So I've done it's almost like crackling. And how to do that is, use a really, really fine brush. And again, I'm using the metallic powder, mixed with a mixing medium. And get a really, really fine brush. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm turning the brush as I'm putting the liquid onto it. And as you're drawing the little, it's almost like little lightning strikes you're doing. So as I'm doing that, you want to keep turning your brush as you're doing it. And that's just going to make sure your lines are really, really thin. So again, I'm just popping it on. And the more random that is, the better. You don't want anything about this bit to be uniform at all. And we're just doing little marks all over, almost like little lightning strikes, like this. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do this all over his entire torso and arms. And then once we've done that, you can finally do his armpits, fill them in black, and fill in his hands.